2 of week 8. We're talking about personal finance apps this week, but you don't necessarily need to focus on that if you don't want to build this into a cohesive thing. Write a test plan for evaluating prototype. So draft a usability test plan to assess your finance app prototype or similar product. And in this case, at this point, you potentially have a dashboard built. So it may be good to test that out. Those are very important to test relative to what you think people are supposed to accomplish there. So not necessarily whether they understand the individual components, but actually think about what someone might be using a dashboard for and test that activity. Include your objectives, participant criteria, key tasks, and then define how you might collect the insights. So you could be thinking about whether people complete a task, how long they spend doing the task, and consider adding prompts for getting permission to record if you haven't already, or encouraging people to think aloud. You may want to start with a usability test blueprint. This exists, you can just search for it. And typically what I'll do is drop that in my favorite whiteboarding tool and use stickies to fill it out, and then transform those stickies into a hierarchical test plan, and then drop it into the final test plan. Compartmentalizing that sometimes makes it a little bit easier to consider the whole thing while also the individual components, but also allows you to modularly pull things together into a structured document, and then you can just type it into your whatever document software you use. But they're relatively straightforward, and they're very important, because it is very important to think about who you're going to test and what the characteristics of those folks are ahead of time, the key things you need to accomplish, what the framing of the test is, what objective it belongs to organizationally. It helps to have all that in the document, partly to help set the tone in the context for the exercise with your stakeholders, but also for history. So when people come back and review this information, they know exactly why you did this test and what initiatives it was a part of and what you're testing at the time. I included an article here from the Nielsen Norman Group, very good on user testing, and I would take a quick read of this before you get started writing your test plan, just to help set the framing of it for you, and then go through that process of building out your test plan. It should be relatively straightforward. If you haven't done one before, it may feel a little bit like writing your first term paper, but once you're through it, you'll have that experience, and the next time you go to write one, you'll be in good shape. Best of luck with this, and I look forward to seeing what you produce.